in and own the room, you are already miles and miles ahead of half the people in the room. Uh, if you take a typical 4 networking meeting, there's an average of 18 to 25 people at any 4 networking meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Half of those people may have been there a dozen times, 2 dozen times, up to 100 times, and they still feel like they're new, and they still don't own the opportunity. So,
Wow.
so if you're going to compete with somebody who's been there 100 times and still doesn't own the room and own the opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
just take it, just grab it and go for it, and walk in the room like you own it, and don't let people know that. And walk up to perfect strangers and say, "Hi, I don't think we've met before." And 9 times out of 10, they'll say, "No, we have," and they'll think that they've never met you because they haven't been there. They don't know you've never been there.
Got
And so
it.
just take advantage of that. Everybody is new at least once, and quite often more than once.
Yeah, I think that's 3 really key points that you've covered there. I just want to recap on them because I think they are very key to how to have that confidence in that room full of strangers. So you say the first one is you're new there, but everybody who is there was new at one point. So you're not doing anything that none of the others have been through. Which I think is a very important thing to remember. Even just remembering that can give you a lot of reassurance, if nothing else, and that other people aren't, as you said, necessarily going to know that you're new there.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
They don't. Unless they are there every single week after week after week. They don't know you're new.
Yeah. So you don't have to act new. You're not going to have all this. I mean, let's face it. Most times people don't judge. Oh, so and so's new anyway, even if they did know they were new. But they're not even going to. Most of them aren't even going to twig the fact that you're new anyway. So even you don't have any of that barrier. And the third thing you said there, which I thought was really interesting, is that if you have the mindset of going in there, I'm going to go in and I'm going to own the room, not in an arrogant way, not in a hey, look at me, I'm the greatest show off sort of way, but just go in there confidently, own the room. Yep, I have the right to be here. I'm going to go out and speak with who I'd like to speak with. I'm going to introduce myself to people. If you go in with that approach, then you're already miles ahead of perhaps half the room who have been going there regularly but still don't take that approach. And when you take that approach, I guess that's kind of where magic happens. When you take that approach, you're going up to someone, hey, nice to meet you. I don't think we've met before. Immediately, you're making it much easier for them as well.
Yeah, the relationship building process has to start with conversations. It has to start with these little chats over coffee, over a biscuit, or whatever the platform is, depending on where you are.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to be conversational, and
someone
always has to start the conversation.
Yep. So
and it's so.
Yeah.
Listen, if you and I meet for the first time, and we're in a room together, and I walk up to you, and I say, you're probably going to be wearing a badge that's going to have your name on it, so that makes it all so much easier.
That is true.
But if I just walk up to you and I go, "Hi, Keith, I'm Michael. I don't think we've met before. Tell me about yourself."
Yeah, I mean,
and let you.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to do.
Yeah.
And let you start talking. Where people often go wrong is, and sometimes it's just nerves. It's networking nerves.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend Paul Ryan has written a book called No More Networking Nerves. And he talks about how you just use these conversations and when you walk in and you start talking to somebody and make it about them. And instead of if I walk up to you and say, "Hey, I'm Michael Nagels," and I start telling you my life story and the history of networking and why I do it, you may not want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
But if I walk up to you and I let you start talking, if I ask you an open-ended question and let you start telling me about you, you're gonna remember me for a lot longer.
Oh yeah.
And I've had to do nothing to earn that.
Yeah.
All I had to do to earn that was let you talk about yourself. And we can stand
Yep.
there for 5 minutes. I keep you talking about yourself, and now we know each other, and we move on to the next person. Somebody's bound to walk up, and
Mm.
when they walk up, we'll turn that conversation to them
Yeah. Yeah.
and do. Oh, hi, Bob. Bob, this is Keith. Keith, Bob. Hey, Keith. So tell us, or Bob, tell us, why do you do what you do, or how?
Mm.
That's a unique business name. Tell me how you came up with that business name,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
let them start talking. And you look confident, you're approachable, and people feel like they can talk to you and start to get to know you. And all you've ever really done is said, "Hey, Keith, tell me about your business."
Yeah. And something I picked up, a feeling that I got as when you started with the opener there. Hello, Keith. I'm Michael. I don't think we've met before. As soon as you said that, I kind of got. Now, obviously, I know we have met before because we've spoken before this. But
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
purpose of the thing, this feeling comes over. It's like, relax. I can relax a bit. Suddenly don't feel so much on edge, and I've got something in common with this person now, and they've given me permission to speak with them. I don't recognise them, they don't recognise me. Immediately we've got something in common. We have never met each other before, and we both acknowledged it. And as strange as it sounds, even acknowledging that you've got that in common, anyone who studies rapport, you know that people tend to like people who are, we tend to like people who are like us. And you've already established a very basic level of rapport there by being friendly and both establishing the fact that you both realise you haven't met each other, which bizarrely means you've both got something in common there immediately, and then you led on with so tell me about you. So
yeah,
I really
yeah.
like that. It's a very friendly
Hey,
and non-threatening way of
good sales
engaging.
trainers. Good sales trainers will teach you one thing right out of the box. If you want to sell something to be successful, you need to create the conditions that make it easy for people to buy.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Well, when you go to a networking meeting, the one thing you're selling, the only thing you're selling, is yourself.
Yeah.
When people first meet you, they don't care about the widgets that you've got in the boot of your car, whether it's healthcare, whether it's web design, whether it's coaching, whether it's aloe vera products. Until people buy you,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to buy your stuff.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so creating the conditions that make it easy to buy, make it easy for them to buy you. And that's simply by being approachable and confident and making it easy for them to talk.
Mm.
And so you create the condition that makes it easy for them to buy by saying, "Come on over here, let's have a conversation. I won't bite you. Let's
Yeah.
let's get to know each other."
Yeah. Nice. And it works beautifully for business networking. And as I mentioned in the opening of the show, even though we're talking about business networking, you can take these same approaches when you're, say, meeting strangers at a party, or even going to the pub in the village that you just moved into, for example. Against the same, I guess you would take the same kind of gentle approach to
Yeah, yeah.
establishing connections with people. Yeah.
What I did in the pub, we have 3 pubs in my village, and I had to go to all 3 of them to find the one that was right for me.
Of course.
And there was the 20s and unders, and then there was the sort of mid 30s to mid 40s,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just past the mid 40 mark at that point. And then I found a pub where there were people that were kind of 45 and older, and that was the one where I felt most comfortable.
Yeah.
But when I first went to that pub, it was a very quiet, dozy little pub, and there'd be a dog in there sleeping in front of the fire, and there might be 3 or 4 guys at any one time during the week. And I walked in one night and ordered a pint, and the guy standing at the bar next to me had about 2 swallows left in his glass.
Mm-hmm.
And when I ordered my pint, I just kind of looked at him and I said, "Give him a pint as well." And that's how I met a guy named Dell, who still lives in the village, and we still drink pints together at that same pub. I don't drink as many pints as I used to, but because I'm gainfully employed again. But at
Mm-hmm.
that point in my life, I had a lot of free time on my hands and a couple of pounds in my pocket. So So Dell and I drank a lot of beer the first year we knew each other, but he,
Nice.
it was just an interesting conversation. But I made it easy to start the conversation because I bought him a pint. At that point, he kind of had to talk to me.
Well, yeah.
True,
True, yeah. Yeah. So going back to networking events, I know one thing that can put a lot of people off is the thought that you have to give a presentation there. You have to stand. I mean, it's all well and good. You've got your bit where you stand up for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, whatever it is at different events, and say, "Hi, my name is Bob. I'm whatever." But you also have you've kind of got to do slightly longer presentations from time to time. And so many people feel they haven't got the ability to stand up and make such presentations. How can you go about building up those speaking skills?
Again, the best way to do it is to do it. For networking, we call that presentation a foresight. The number four, our brand is built around the number 4.
Yeah.
And we do what's called a foresight, and it's an 18-minute presentation. Okay. And it can't be a sales pitch, but it's meant to be inspirational, informational, conversational, educational, something like that. Mm-hmm. And it's really an opportunity for you to build visibility and credibility in what you do.
Right.
I went to that first meeting in Letchworth, as I said, where I ended up joining and even joined a team at that first meeting. Before I ever got out the door, I was on a team. Mm-hmm. And then I went to my second meeting, which was the group where I was on the team at. And the group leader came up to me and said, "Listen, we don't have a speaker for the next meeting. Would you like to do the foresight?" And that was perfect for me because if you think back to my environment, I'd only been in floor networking now for about 3 or 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. And a big hurdle that I was working my way around at the time was the fact that I was an American in a very English audience in the room, and I was very self-conscious about it. And I've always been comfortable with public speaking. I'm not necessarily good at it, but I've always been comfortable with it. And I saw the foresight as an opportunity to break the ice, to do that first presentation. And the thing about it is, if you're in the right networking organization, mm-hmm. that's one of the safest places you'll ever practice your speaking skills. You'll never have a better audience than at an organization where you've invested money and time and where they know you. And so at my third meeting, I stood up to do the foresight. And because I didn't have anything better to talk about, I didn't know a better subject, I just took 2 whiteboards and put them up. And I spent 18 minutes talking about the difference between American and English, and talked about the hood of the car versus the bonnet, and the boot of your car versus the trunk, and made some jokes about being married to an English girl and what the communication pitfalls of that in the early years, but I just did 2 whiteboards, and I just made a foresight out of the differences in language and lifestyle. Wow. And it wasn't so much because I thought they needed to hear those witty things and that I was going to wow them with my witty repertoire. Mm-hmm. It was because I felt like I just needed to stand up and talk in front of them so I could get used to talking in front of them.
Gotcha, yeah. So you spoke about something that was safe, non-threatening. I like that. Interesting thing you say is that the foresights you call them, foresights.
Yes.
They're not sales pitches. So immediately that takes a whole lot of pressure off as well, I guess. There's none of this, oh my word, I've got to sell things here. So it immediately takes the pressure off and makes it much easier for you to focus on providing content and value to people.
Yeah, it's like I said before, the first thing you're selling is yourself.
Yeah.
And so to stand up and try to do a sales pitch, and I've seen people alienate entire rooms of people by doing a sales pitch. Yeah. And I've seen those same people, once they actually understand the platform, go back and do a foresight where they tell their life story, or they educate people, or they talk about an experience that they've had, or they inspire people, and those are so much better, and those are the people you want to buy from.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Networking is never about selling your stuff. It's the